What is happening, folks? Welcome to the channel. Hope everybody's doing good. You feel me? So, as you know, I've been dealing with the Civic Hybrid here, and the battery pack is deteriorated. This car has 270,000 miles on it. I'm getting this code here. It says hybrid battery pack deterioration P0A7F. It basically means that the IMA integrated motor assist battery is no longer functional, or at the very least, it's just not doing its job right. There's a kit that you can get to refurbish these batteries. Multiple brands available. I went with Maxx Volts battery charging kit. So this thing looks like a power bank essentially for a computer setup. It's got warning labeled, or warning here. It says never plug the vehicle wiring harness into an unpowered charger. So that means have power on and going into your charger. It sounds like always have the charger powered on, plugged into a 120 VAC via wall outlet and at full voltage output on the charger display prior to inserting the wiring harness into the charger. Never modify, extend, or add any wiring to our system. Never connect or attempt to wire any device not manufactured by our company to the Maxx Volts vehicle wiring harness. The only approved discharging device to safely discharge a hybrid battery without damage is our Pro automatic discharger, sold separately and optional. Failure to adhere to these important instructions can and will cause permanent damage to the device, which will not be covered under manufacturer warranty. So it sounds like they've had some people mess these things up. So we have the power unit here. Then it looks like we have a little card to scan your installation guides, part 1 and 2 here. So we'll get into that in a second. And then we got regular power cable. And then it looks like this is going to be our wiring harness that we're going to be plugging into and wiring into our existing IMA battery. Alright, so these are the tools that you're going to need to install the Maxx Volts hybrid battery charger, reconditioner, whatever you want to call it. You're going to need a step bits, an electric drill, because we're going to be creating a port for this plug here, somewhere up in here probably, or maybe in the back of the trunk. You're going to need a T30 Torx bit, an extension, 10 mil, and a 12 mil. You're going to want a insulated Phillips head screwdriver, size 1 for the IMA positive and negative connections. You're going to need a ratchet, multimeter, and of course you're going to need the kit. Start by getting these headrests out. Four, 5, 6, 12s, 2 10s here in the middle. That's going to be where our disengage the battery pack breaker is going to be at. This little panel here. High voltage, you can be killed or hurt. Do not remove this cover. We'll just go ahead and ignore that. All right. So we have the on and the off. We're just going to go ahead and flip that. The electricity should just be stored in the battery. There should be nothing else flowing through here. I'll show you how to check that in a second. Oh, it's kind of like taped on. There we go. So of course you're going to want to make sure that your breaker is in the off position right there. And let's get to work. Alright, so we're going to flip this off. And we're going to start by taking off these two 10s right here that are holding on our negative and positive terminal. Now these don't have any power. We already checked the power. Apparently the power is in the relay, not there. So now we got these bolts off here, we're going to actually go and start to disconnect the harness that are connected to this part right here. So we got this orange harness here, and we'll just press that down, pops right out. There's another one down here, right next to the off switch, just has a little button press too. So now this battery pack here is actually completely disconnected from the car. Just gonna go ahead and tuck this seat belt out of the way because I know I'm gonna need it out of my way. So now we got these bolts that are already, someone's already tried to take them off. And this one, I can already tell this is gonna be stripped. So that's great. These are 12s. So now this battery pack should be able to slide out quite a bit. Alright, so apparently I have a base model. I didn't know that. I was buying a base model charger. I just read that it was for this car and I bought it. So in the video that he supplies on YouTube, he actually has a little docking port right here, and it seems to make more sense. But because I have this base model, I'm actually going to be running it through the trunk lining, and by that I mean this wiring harness. So everything's going to be plugged in through the trunk, and so whenever I want to charge this car, or whenever I need to, I'll just have to have this unit inside the trunk, I guess. It's not a big deal. It's whatever. So with that figured out, that was a big little hiccup watching the video. I'm just trying to figure out, like, why is my kit different than this, the one that's in the video? And now we know. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop the trunk right quick. Just pop off some clips so you can access behind the seat here. And here I am just going to run the wire between these two flaps right here and just have the charger hanging out, or the docking port, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm just feeding this end of the wiring harness through the back side of the seats here, and that will just prevent me having to snake all these individual wires through everything. Another way you could do it is obviously just tie like a little string, or use a coat hanger, whatever you want. I am just going to use this. And there we go. It's coming out this side here. And we will just kind of run it like this. I don't have a problem with that at all. The only thing I could say is, you know what I will do at the end of this is I will actually get some Velcro and then just put some Velcro up here, and that's just going to keep this cord out of the way. You know, I can just keep it up like that. I think that'll look fine. You know, I just don't want to damage the connector since this doesn't come with the dust cap like the better model does. So that's that. Let's go back into here and wire this into our IMA system. I'm going to start by pulling that battery out just enough to expose this panel here, and I'll show you why in a second. So the battery has these two little handles. You're just gonna, there we go. Now, if you're very careful, you can actually test the voltage of the battery pack here. Earlier we were testing it off of up here, but you actually touch this guy right here and this guy right here, and right now I have no voltage, but I'm going to go ahead and flip this on, and then you can touch right here and right here, and this battery pack has a voltage of 156.9. Show you on the camera there. So 156.9. So we know we have voltage here, but we know that these packs should be closer to like 180 volts, I think, something like that. I'll probably correct myself in the video edit here, but that's something you can do. So we're gonna go to make sure we have this off again, and we are gonna go ahead and tap into the system. Now that we have identified our negative and positive for sure, that's where these wires, I believe, are gonna go. Your red and your black, positive, negative, and that's where you're gonna use your screwdriver with the insulated setup. Now, before we touch this again, we have our multimeter. Let's just be safe. Double check the ground and the positive. So we had a little flicker of 2 volts there for a quick little second. There's nothing here anymore. There's no energy here, so that breaker does its job. We have our ground identified and our positive identified. These packs can be different. You can watch the Maxx Volts videos to find out, you know, contact them to see about swapping if there's different like battery packs. Like if your battery pack doesn't look like mine looks like the one that's in their video, so I'm pretty content here. Got a magnetic piece right there, so we got our negative right here, black. We're gonna go ahead and just feed that on through that screw, and then just put it right back in, making sure not to strip anything, and making sure that the connection that is inside there, you see right behind the black wire, there's another flat washer piece. I don't know if it'll focus. There you go. So just make sure that you have all the connections still there, and then re-tighten that back down. We'll make sure that we have this sticking out straight, just for cleanliness. Nice and tight. And then our positive is up here, and we will do the same process with that. Now this one doesn't look like it has any other connectors behind it. I should be working out, but I'm doing this. Alright, so we got that fed through there again, and we will just reconnect that, and making sure not to strip anything. Easy peasy. Okay. nice and tight. There we go. So that is the charging aspect of this. And then next up we have to work on the last 3 wires here, and that's going to be for the fan control. We have a green one that's a ground. We have this orange one that says tube fan blue. This white one that says tube fan red. Alright, now for the fan control, it's actually going to be, there's a set of 2 relays right here. We're not going to touch those, but right behind that there's this white plug, and you just press down on the right side of it there, and you should be able to pull it out just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and cut this wire loom. We're just cutting the electrical tape right there so we can separate this piece. We have black, blue, purple, and then red. Obviously our red is going to be a positive. The black is going to be a negative. Those 2 wires on the outside, the positive and the negative, are both thicker gauge wire than the 2 middle ones. Alright, we got a little band-aid over there. I'm messing up so you don't have to. You're going to watch this video and you're going to know exactly how to wire this thing. So just make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this thing, you guys. I mean, come on. Alright. So, this thing, you're going to want the wires coming in from this side. That. Again. Okay, now that that's like that, let's see if we have a better connection. And there you go. So you can see that I have these wires, they are acting like they're being fed towards the plug now, and they'll be just kind of facing up when I tighten this down. So now that the orientation is good, that's good. Let's tighten these down, get this plug connected back in, and then we're just going to find our ground. I'm assuming using this ground will not hurt anything, so I'm going to use that one because I know it's solid ground. It's what Honda uses. And we'll finish twisting these down, penetrating into the wire harness. Down to here. And that's it, I guess. Well, reconnect this plug, obviously. There we go. Clean this up a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to slide this back in. We're going to make sure our wiring doesn't get caught up here. Make sure these are tucked away. Just gonna let it slide back in. Oh boy, this is heavy. This is not a good orientation at all. I can see why they stripped that one. It probably didn't have anybody to help them up. And then probably just said after that, they probably were just like, alright, so we'll connect this right here. Connect this again. I'll actually run our wires on top of them. Like that. Big wrench. This will give me some leverage. I think that's going to be our solution there. Okay. So all that's left now is to flip the breaker, but we won't do that until we put that shield back on because we don't want to blow up. Yeah, I mean, pretty clean. I wouldn't be able to tell really that this is a add-on. It just looks like Honda got lazy with something. I'm really just kind of concerned about how tight of a fit it's going to be over here. Maybe I could just cut out part of the shield and allow this little hump to stick out a little bit. Everything will be covered up by the seat anyway. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I'm just gonna go ahead and put everything back together the way I found it. Alright, so we got the back seats all put back together. I'm gonna have to readjust them down the line, but something tells me I'm gonna be right back over here relatively soon, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Alright, we got the unit right here. As per the instructions, it says to plug this in first and then wait for the voltage or amperage or whatever to read properly. This is reading whatever that is. I'll take a look at the papers and see what it's supposed to read. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and end the video there because it is late already. It's already 10 p.m. It says that you're going to have this thing charging for 8 to 12 hours, and I'd rather do that during the daytime instead of just trusting it and leaving it on the street charging. I guess I could. No, we'll just check everything tomorrow. That's going to do it for this video. This is just an install video. I'll catch you guys in the next one where we actually try this product out and see if it fixes our IMA light. Peace out.